There's no such thing as work-life balance in real estate, my friends, and I'm going to tell you why. What's up, my friend? It's Coach Courtney here with Real Estate Growth Solutions, and I think too often agents get into real estate with this big vision that they're going to have, this big-ass life and all this free time and all this money to spend, and they're going to take endless vacations, endless golfing, and do all these things that they see realtors doing on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And I want to tell you, that's really just not the way that it is, okay? Strategically, right here, this is booked time in my schedule to be on social media communicating a message to you. And a lot of times when you see agents out there doing the things that they're putting on social media, it's very much the same thing. It's a scheduled part of their lives, okay? And I want to tell you, when I was building my business up to the point where we are now, having sold over 3,000 properties for over $1 billion, my work-life balance looked like this. I just worked and worked and worked until there were no more hours, until I nearly burned out and felt like quitting the business. Now, that is not what I recommend people doing, but I'm just not going to lie to you and say that I didn't do that, and that strategy or approach for 5 years wasn't a big reason about why I've got a big team and why I'm not a successful coach right now. It is. Like, I sacrificed everything, okay? I gave away friendships. I gave away holidays. I gave away fancy things. I gave away a marriage. I gave away almost everything in my entire life so that I could build a successful real estate business. And I was 100%, 10 out of 10 prepared to give away all those things to do it. I was just that committed. Now, I'm not trying to suggest that you need to be that way. What I am going to suggest is that if you're looking for some semblance of a life that you can be proud of, where you get to see the people that you love, do the things that you want to do, and be physically and emotionally present at that time, first and foremost, the number one rule is you've got to have very real conversations with the people in your life that you care about most. And I'll share with you an example of a conversation that I had with my wife right before we decided to have kids. In fact, I should say, right before she agreed to have kids with me. She said, listen, if we're going to do this, I'm not going to raise kids as a single parent. And if you keep this work stuff up the way that it's going now, we just can't do it. I'm not going to agree to it. Okay? So then I had the conversation with her about, okay, so tell me what that would have to look like for you in order for you to want to have a kid with me. Okay? So what it looked like was that I needed to be home 2 nights a week to start, and I needed to take at least a half a day off on the weekend. She was super agreeable, right? So naturally what I did was I scaled back my weekend schedule so that I had a half day off on Sundays, which was great. I really liked that. And then I had 2 evenings off during the week. Now, the other piece of that agreement was that I needed to be present for bedtime every single day, which meant that between the hours of, I think it was 6:30 and 7:30, I needed to be there getting kids ready for bed and getting them down. And of course, I was happy to agree to that. Now, this is the important part of the story that I want you to understand. As soon as I understood what her needs were, as soon as I had a clear agreement and commitment in my primary relationship as to what it was going to take for us to succeed in a marriage, as parents, with me in business, I just went ahead and created that. And I want to tell you this, my business didn't suffer at all. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that agents are faced with. They think, well, man, if I put less time into this business, in some way I'm going to suffer. No. What you'll be forced to do is to find more responsible, more scalable ways to grow your business. You'll do things like bring in showing partners. You'll tell people, I'm sorry, I'm busy with my family at that time, but I can do this time, because you've got non-negotiables in your life. So in terms of creating that balance, if you will, that elusive work-life balance, I would encourage you to have hard stops about when you're prepared to work and when you're not prepared to work. And you better have clarity with your team around that. You better have clarity with your family around that. You better have clarity with your clients around that. Otherwise, the business will just take over like it did for me for that 5-year period. Now listen, I'm grateful for that. I didn't have children. I was wanting to get divorced. I was making a complete shift in my friendship circle anyway. So that's not a bad news story. But I do want you to understand that that was a 5-year period where I worked about 100 hours a week on average, okay? So that was my commitment at that time. Now, yeah, I don't work evenings, I don't work weekends, and I've scaled out of most of the stuff that I can scale out of in my business. And yeah, now I work about 15 hours in my team, 15 hours a week coaching, and 15 hours a week doing another piece of business that I really, really like. If you're looking to build a life by that, what you want to do is get people in your life that are prepared to hold you accountable, and you better get prepared to book things and stick to things, and then you'll have a hope of getting that elusive balance that I talked about before. Hope you like this content. If you have questions, go ahead, reach out. Otherwise, don't forget, like and follow. Take good care.